Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, and we're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Tuesday, April 23rd. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below so you can watch all of our NBA, MLB, NFL videos. If you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel, and Draftkings cash lineups. Hey, we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to come check out the site here at dfscheatsheet.com. So, hey, what up, Jeremy? How you doing out there, bro?
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, another day grinding out, some more DFS lines, the life of, our lives, basically, what we do every single damn day. Overall, pretty good night tonight. NBA, man, I was so close. James Harden, I needed 15 from him in the fourth quarter. The guy ended up giving me 2 fantasy points. It was horrible, but hey, move on to tomorrow. Did you get some NBA in today or not today?
No, I did both MLB slates and am still sitting here sweating over this Yankees-Angel game in the bottom of the 13th inning.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, man, let's just jump in and talk some basketball. We got some teams that are trying to close out. We got a really big Game 5 we were just mentioning before we jumped on. So real quick, before I do, if you guys don't mind, please take that quick second, click the like button down below. Helps me out. Really appreciate that from you guys. And yeah, man, let's just go. So the first game we're going to go into, it's going to be Orlando Magic going to be go into Toronto to face the Raptors. This game has a 206.5 over under, which is the lowest on the slate, and Toronto's favored by 11.5 to close out at home.
So other than game 3 and the game that Orlando stole, 2 of these games haven't been close. They haven't. This is look, elimination game, one of the hardest things to do is to put a team away and put them out the series. So this game, it's going to be about one thing. Can Orlando throw a punch, and then can they sustain it? And if they can't, it's series over. So who do you throw a punch with? You look at Vucevic, you look at DJ Augustine, and for my money, you look at Terrence Ross. If Terrence Ross can go light it up like he's done before, then they've got a game, and maybe they're still alive in the series. And at this point, all you're trying to do is get it back home. You got to lean on Vucevic. You've got to lean on DJ Augustine, who's played decent in the series. But look, I'm going to keep saying it. Terrence Ross is my guy. For my money, that's who I want to spend on is Terrence Ross. I just think this guy can go absolutely bonkers. He's playing 30 minutes in each one of these games. Game 4 he did get hot. Game 3 he got hot and he put up 24 points, and they lost by 5 in that game. So that's really, outside of their win, the only game that's been close. And you see 24 minutes, 10 points in game 1. They won that game. He had 10 points in that win. So this guy to me is the kind of the cog in the wheel. If he can knock shots down, I think they've got a chance. I'm going to lean on Terrence Ross for 5.5.
Yeah, did you mention Aaron Gordon?
I'm just not. This is not a spot I want to load up Aaron Gordon, not in Toronto and not against this front court. I just don't.
Yeah, no, I get you. We're gonna load up somebody. I was watching. No, I was asking because I was sitting at my mom's house and I was watching all the basketball games the other day. And when the Magic were trying to make a push and they were getting back in the game, it was Aaron Gordon after Aaron Gordon after Aaron Gordon. He was being very aggressive, and I feel like they play better when he is aggressive. So he's a guy that I think is a pretty good play. On the Raptors side of things. You start with their main guy, Kawhi Leonard, 9.8. He just took over the game the other day. He went on a run, or I think he scored 12 straight points. In the third quarter, kind of pushed the lead. I think you start right there. Kawhi Leonard, 9.8. I feel he should still be a little bit, he should probably be like 10.5. So 9.8 is still a fair price tag for him. He's a top play on the Raptors. And then the second favorite play for me is Pascal Siakam, 8,600. Me and you were talking about this like a week or two ago, and we're saying he's like their second best player on the team now. And I firmly believe that. This guy's playing 37 to 40 minutes a game. He's not coming off the floor. He had, a couple mediocre games, which was still 25, 30 fantasy points. And then he had a couple really big games already in this series against the Magic. I like him going back home. Outside of him, you can look at Kyle Lowry at 8,000. You can look at Marc Gasol 5,900, and you can also look at Ibaka 5,100. But that's really where I'm gonna keep it. The only other guy that I'll consider is, I've been looking at Fred VanVleet all year long. The problem right now is short rotations. The bench guys are not getting the minutes in the 20s. They're getting the minutes that are 14, 15 minutes. It's hard to kind of depend on somebody for fantasy points in that spot unless you're kind of using them as a drop spot. So main guys for me on the Raptors, it's Leonard, Siakam.
So is Siakam a lock for you?
I'm not necessarily saying he's a lock on this slate, but he's my second favorite play on the Raptors. He's a really good player, though. I mean, I put him in there, feel comfortable.
Right on.
Next game we're going to go with, it's going to be the Brooklyn Nets going into Philadelphia to face the 76ers. This game has a 229.5 over-under, which is by far the highest on the slate. Philadelphia is favored by 8.5 in this one.
This is about points. So if it's going to be about points, you got to look at two guys. Straight up, right off the bat, you got to look at D'Angelo Russell and Karis LeVert. This dude, Karis LeVert, has done a couple things that we've talked about all season long. 6.9 price tag doesn't scare me in the least. I think it's about Russell. I think it's about LeVert. You could even throw Spencer Dinwiddie in this mix, but on a 4-game slate, you need impactful players. You could possibly take a look at Joe Harris. Maybe he gets hot in this one, but this is going to be about D'Angelo Russell and Karis LeVert, in my opinion. Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench. The thing about playoff games, and bro, you're a basketball coach, so maybe you got an answer for me on this. Why don't basketball coaches flop their rotations? And what I mean by that is, like, playoff games in these series, they become so predictable. A team can get close, and one team, especially when it's the first round, one team's bench is far better than the other team's bench, and you see a team pull away. Why don't they flip that? Like, I don't understand why when you get in the third quarter, if it's a close game, why you just don't have somebody play through that, especially in like a pivotal game or elimination game.
What do you mean? Like your starters start out the third quarter playing bad, so they just clear them out and go with all 5 bench guys?
No. I mean, like, you make a run and you make it close. Like, say you're down 12 and your starters come in the game, they make a run, right? And then the end of that third quarter comes, and most teams in the playoffs, their starters go to the bench.
Oh yeah. No, I get
the only team that doesn't do that is the team that's won 3 titles in the last 4 years.
Yeah, no, I get what you want. Well, they won 3 titles in the past 4 because they have their rotation is really, really nice. What they do is they make sure they always have 2 superstars on the floor at the same time. That's why.
And they've been doing it for the last 5 years. Like, Draymond, going back to when it was Draymond and Clay that would play with the bench players, right? Like, I don't understand why you see teams keep games close in the playoffs and coaches are so stubborn. Like, you see X and O adjustments get made as the series goes on, but you never see rotation adjustments made as the series goes on.
Right. So to answer your question, what I think personally is that, they're just like, well, say we pulled it into a 2-point game. Okay, so boom. So let me try to rest, give my starters a quick little 2.5 minute break, and then they're going to play 9.5, 10 minutes in a row, like in the fourth quarter in a big time game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's just frustrating to watch because you'll see them match subs. Like let's say that in this game, let's say that the benches are both on the floor, and you'll see him bring Russell back, and then you'll see Philadelphia, okay, we're gonna bring Simmons back, right? So they'll match subs that way. I just don't understand, to start off that fourth quarter, why you don't see teams, like, if you're on a run or in a trail position, just run your starters back out there to start the fourth against the other team's bench and see what you can do. They'll just, like clockwork, line shift in hockey, they just send their guys, both starters, to the bench, and it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't like that. I think you always have to have, if you have 2 best players, one of your 2 best. Perfect example, like that's what OKC does. You'll always see Westbrook or Paul George on the floor, always. Like, they'll be for 30 seconds they won't, but for the most part, they're always like one of them is on the floor. So real quick, on the 76er side of things, I mean, Joel Embiid, we've loved centers all year against the Nets. We got him listed as a game time decision, but he is probable tomorrow. 11,000. I mean, he's in a monster spot to have another monster game, just coming off a big one. Joel Embiid is definitely the the top target on the 76ers. Outside of him, Tobias Harris has really stepped up, played very, very well. Ben Simmons is playing very, very well as well. But at the 9.9 price tag, Ben Simmons a little bit more GPP play for me. JJ Redick, I mean, he has the upside. We know it. Same thing with Jimmy Butler. I'll kind of put them in the same sentence. Jimmy Butler, Redick are both fair price tags for what they do. They just haven't been playing very well this series. Either one of those guys could have a breakout game. They both definitely have that in them. But right now, they're GPPs. The main target on 76ers for me is Embiid, Harris, Simmons. Off the bench, I'm not really going to be targeting anybody off the bench. Boban has actually had a couple really good games in a row against the Nets, but he's having those games in only 13, 14 minutes. And now the price tag is up to $5,000. I just don't see the upside there on the price tag for him. So it's really for me like Joel Embiid, Harris, Simmons are my favorite plays. Redick, Butler, GPP plays. Next game we're going to go with is going to be the San Antonio Spurs going into Denver to face the Nuggets. This game has a 211 over-under. Denver is favored by 5.5 in this one at home. And, yeah, man, this is a big-time game right here.
Yeah, this is a big-time game, and the only guy that's really been in this spot in a pressure-packed spot like this and hasn't had success is DeMar DeRozan. And this series has been about the success of DeMar DeRozan. I know Derek White's gone off. I know he had the big game. I know that. But if you look at DeMar DeRozan and their 2 wins and their 2 losses, there's a huge difference in his play. This game is about the guard play of San Antonio against the guard play of Denver. I know that we could talk about Jokic and Aldridge and all this other stuff, but the bottom line at the end of the day, it's guard play. You look at the huge game Jamal Murray had when they stole a win. You look at the huge game Derek White had in Game 3. This game is about guard play, in my opinion. DeMar DeRozan, Derek White, those are the big targets you want to look at. Rudy Gay coming off the bench. Anybody else that you want to target, fine. But those, to me, are tournament considerations. For me, primary cash game considerations, DeMar DeRozan has to have a big one tomorrow. He just does. And it's very hard to roster DeMar DeRozan at 9.1 when you have C.J. McCollum on the slate who's played out of his mind in the OKC series, and you have D'Angelo Russell, who's going to take a ton of shots. But to me, this is about guard play. It's about DeRozan. It's about Derek White.
On the Nuggets side of things, I mean, I'm going to start with Jokic. The guy's been flirting with the triple-double basically every game of this series. 10.5 is a very fair price tag for him. He's gonna give you a solid floor in a must-win game. I think that he's gonna show up, and I think he's gonna have a big one. I like Jokic in this spot. I mean, he's definitely gonna be my top play on the Nuggets. I think it's a very fair price. Then you got Millsap, Murray. Those are their second 2 guys that they really depend on. The same thing that you kind of say with DeMar DeRozan about he has to have a good game. Usually when the Nuggets play well, it's when Millsap is playing good and Murray is playing pretty good, and not everything is on Jokic. So I think that those guys are very, very important. Good price tags. So it's Jokic, Millsap, Murray. GPP plays, you can look at Harris. He's playing a ton of minutes, and it's interesting. Barton, he's a guy that they counted on the past couple of years, and he actually went to the bench, didn't get very many minutes last game. Then they went to Torrey Craig, 4.6. The guys played well this year when Gary Harris was out and he was starting. Man, he came in, he played 37 minutes. If he's going to play 37, 38 minutes, again, I mean, we can't say he's going to do that. We could say if he's going to start, he'll play maybe 34. But even 34 minutes at 4.6, I think that's a fair price tag. And you can definitely look at him. He's shown us that he does have a little bit of upside on these prices. So Craig and Gary Harrison to get the minutes. Outside of that, I mean, they got a log jam off the bench, and they got a bunch of guys that are playing, 14, 15 minutes. Mason Plumlee, 3.7. You can look at him as a drop spot GPP play. But I'm not really too interested on the bench guys. It's really, Jokic, Millsap, Murray, and then the other 2 as GPP plays.
And Millsap he's had 1 decent game of 30 fantasy points. The other 3 are duds.
But we know Millsap can have those games though.
It's just not there against LaMarcus Aldridge. Yeah. It's just not.
Yeah, it's a tough.
I don't know if you remember this, but I said this maybe a couple months ago. We were talking about Millsap, and Millsap's really good against finesse players. Like you put him and Jeremy Grant on the floor together, and Millsap's in a situation where he can go off. You put him against a bigger body dude, and Millsap has a really hard time getting inside to get rebounds. He gets pushed around, and that's what this series has really been for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could go Aldridge if he gets a matchup where they go Aldridge on Jokic, and they go, like Rudy Gay comes in off the bench and plays Millsap. Then that's like a matchup that they could dominate. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I just don't think. Here's my honest opinion, bro. My honest opinion is that Greg Popovich has a lot of things in common with Bill Belichick and Nick Saban and these guys that figure out what you do really well and who they can take away from you to make you do something different. Right. And they are eliminating players from this series, and they're putting it. We're saying we can live with you having Jokic. We can live with you having a triple double. We can't live with you having a triple double and Paul Millsap and Jamal Murray and Gary Harris and Will Barton all going off.
Right, I get you. They have the schemes.
Right.
Moving on, final game of the night we're going to go with is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder going into Portland to face the Trailblazers. This game has a 219 over-under. Portland's favored by 3.5 in this one. Hey, are they going to close it out? What do you think, bro?
I'm going to tell you right now that Orlando and Toronto and Brooklyn and Philadelphia early as these warm-up games, they'll be cool. They'll be fun to watch. But this San Antonio-Denver game and this Oklahoma City-Portland game, put your seatbelt on, because if they're going to be loud, they're going to be extremely loud. They're going to be like Utah was tonight. They're going to be hostile, loud environments. This Portland environment is going to be the best environment we've probably seen in a while. That's notorious for being loud. You're a Laker fan like I am, and we know how hard it was for the Lakers, even when they were winning championships, they go to Portland and lose, because it's just a great city for basketball. Russell Westbrook's not shooting the ball well. That's not breaking news. He's finding a way to get himself to 20 points per game. How, I don't know, free throw line, etc. But what they've done really well is they've bogged the key down and made it very difficult for him to get in there and hand stuff off to Steven Adams and to kick out. And we were texting earlier about James Harden, right? And James Harden had 3 assists tonight. He can't make shots. Like, he can't get assist numbers. He can't pass it to himself and then make the shot and get an assist. Russell Westbrook's in the same spot. Like, he's getting the easy assist, but he's not got guys around him consistently knocking down shots. And they don't have that kind of a team. That's the way this team is built. So I don't think they pull it off. I think that Portland closes it out. But I do think you're going to see Russell Westbrook and Paul George give everything they've got. And I do like Jeremy Grant quite a bit. I'm okay with Schroeder, but this isn't about Dennis Schroeder. This game is about Russell Westbrook and Paul George. They know it. They're on the plane to Portland talking about, this is why I signed for these type of games, blah, 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 blah. They know what time it is. This is about Westbrook. It's about Paul George. The problem is what Russell Westbrook, if this was last year, I would have full confidence they could go in there and steal this game and send it back home. But they need Russell Westbrook to score the basketball and create shots. The problem that Westbrook is bringing to this team right now is, I I wasn't the guy saying that he needed to change the way he played, that he was bad for his team and all this stuff. He's a ball hog, because I didn't believe that. I love the way the guy plays. The problem is, from a basketball standpoint, he's not making any shots, especially that elbow jumper where he comes down, pulls up, creates space for other guys, and everybody's bogged down in the lane, and it's affected Steven Adams a lot. So I don't think there's enough spacing. I don't think Russell Westbrook's – I don't think they can get it done. I just don't.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. They're making them just settle for all perimeter jump shots.
Right, but there's no space. Like the guy's been so good the last 2 years at getting a rebound, and then he's the fastest guy in the NBA, and just getting his ass down the floor and then creating an opportunity for somebody. Now there's no threat for him to pull up and make a shot. They're saying, go ahead, take that shot, and he's not making them. So everything's condensed. Nobody's making perimeter shots. It's just difficult. I don't see how they pull it off.
Yeah. On the Portland side of things, man, you main 3 guys. You got Damian Lillard. Obviously, he's the top guy, 10,000. Man, I like him in this spot. He's the guy you got to start with. And then it's crazy, man. CJ McCollum, he's turned it up to a different notch. And he's been playing very, very well this series. He's got you 21 points in four straight, and he's filling up the stat sheet. He's doing a little bit of everything. He's playing very well. I would never really recommend to pay 8.4 to CJ McCollum because I always say he's score independent, but he realizes playoffs is doing a lot more than just shooting the ball. Very surprising, but I like him in this spot. Him and Lillard, top guys, and then you got to look at Canner. 6.7 is still a very good price tag for him. He's got you at least 26 fantasy points in 3 of the 4 games, and then he's showing upside. He had a 49 fantasy point game already in the first game of this series, and he's playing the minutes. That's always been the thing with Cantor is if he gets the minutes, then he's going to produce, and he's playing right around 30 minutes. I like him. Those are the top guys. And then another thing that's really been surprising and put Portland over the top is Aminu and Harkless. Both of these guys have been playing, fairly solid. They're giving, solid defensive effort. Both of them are some lengthy guys, and they're scoring some baskets. I think you can look at them as some GPP plays. I don't know if I would play them in cash, but I think that they are in play. Outside of that, I mean, Portland's rotation has been really, really tight, and a bunch of these guys are getting quick little 10-minute runs just to give some breathers. Nobody's really getting consistent run where I would look at them off the bench. So I mean, main guys is Cantor, Lillard, McCollum. Love all 3 of those guys in this spot.
Yep.
Cool. Hey, that's all we got for you guys. 4 games. Hey, don't worry about watching basketball before 5 p.m. But hey, after 5 p.m. Pacific time, you better tune in and watch those games. San Antonio 6:30 Pacific time, OKC 7:30. Hey, it's gonna be a fun night in the NBA. Hey, if you guys want to check out any other of our NBA content, we got MLB, got a bunch of other stuff. Check it out, dfscheatsheet.com, and good luck on your guys' contest tomorrow. Peace out.